Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The City of Belleville acknowledges we are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations. We recognize and honor the historic relationship of the Indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We recognize all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path towards reconciliation and show respect for the Indigenous peoples who first lived and currently live on this land we now reside together. Please remain standing for a moment of reflection.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only for what will promote good government. May we bring to our council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others, so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Please be seated. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none. We have a public meeting tonight. Belleville is preparing a new CIP to support industrial development across the city. A statutory public meeting is being held today to hear and receive comments on the draft plan. I would like to introduce Joan Hack, Director of Sierra Planning and Management, who has been retained by the city for this project. He will provide a brief presentation summarizing the intent and programs being recommended.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, members of council and staff and members of the public as well. So, as indicated, I'll give a 10-minute review of what the Prospective Employment Lands Community Improvement Plan comprises, and then, as this is a statutory public meeting, we can obviously then entertain any representations that may exist. So, just to get straight into it, the aims of the Employment Lands CIP are very much rooted in the existing work that the City of Belleville has done to develop its employment lands, expand the property base in terms of taxation capability, so it's not just resting on residential, for example. So the goals there are obviously to protect and preserve existing lands, but also to grow the existing industrial base or employment lands base, stimulate good, higher paying jobs, those of a more permanent nature, generate investments in technology, all the good things that we read about, and obviously optimize the use of lands which the municipality owns and has designated for employment land development. So the area for the CIP, as you may well be aware from all the work that the city has done on its other community improvement plan, in order to have a community improvement plan providing incentives to properties under Section 28 of the Planning Act, you need to have a community improvement project area defined, and so the definition of that is as the city currently has for its comprehensive CIP, that being the city as a whole, so the entire boundary. And then within that, we've identified an area that's more of a priority. We're calling it the priority area for industrial, which is that area which you can see in the center there. To give you a bit more of a brief on it, you can see that what it really is the swath of industrial lands developed and yet to be developed north of the 401. It includes lands which are both in city ownership. You may not be able to see it there, but there are some very large parcels of land denoted by a thinner red line that comprises city lands, and then the others are private. There are other industrial lands, but this remains the focus of where you're going to get the biggest impact from the development of employment uses. So it's not to discount the more rural-based industrial enterprises that exist, but they are not the target of what we're doing here. What we're focusing on here is really city building employment land development. So to run through at a high level what the programs are in terms of their applicability, there are 5 programs, and they apply to areas within the priority area and then areas that are outside of the priority area. So just to remind you, again, that is the priority area as opposed to the city as a whole, but there are some programs that would apply to all of the city's area. The first one, and one that Council is fully conversant with, I think, on some of the other plans that you have developed over the years, is the tax increment equivalent grant. There are higher levels of support given to what we call target employment sectors compared to, and that's on the left-hand side there, you see, the highest level of support under the tax increment grant, which again, just for maybe members of the public who may not be aware, the tax increment grant says when you develop, you take a baseline from, say, today, and then there is development, the taxes go up, the assessment goes up. That quantum of difference represents the taxes that would be paid in the future. A portion of those taxes are the municipal or the citywide portion. That portion itself can be rebated back in the form of a grant that is time limited. So it's a very useful fund if it's not overused, and it enables to give a significant amount of incentive. So what are the target sectors, you might think, because that's really the distinction here is between if you're a target sector and a non-target sector for each of those programs. So just to tell you what they are, since it's not in the presentation, the city currently has an employment land strategy the council would have endorsed several years ago. The target sectors that we're talking about in terms of those which are priorities are obviously manufacturing and advanced manufacturing, anything which is professional, scientific and technical services, business services, transportation and warehousing, including logistics, all these kinds of uses that benefit from the city's strategic position on the 401, wholesale, excuse me, and commercial, and research and development, as well as agribusiness and food manufacturing. So a pretty long list, but those remain the targets. The second program is development charge related grants. The third is a deferral of interest that can be achieved as a result of delaying development charges. Excuse me, sorry. Can I get a glass of water if anyone got any capability? Sorry. And then the fourth one is planning fees and building permits rebate, and employment landscape landscape improvement program, which would only apply to existing businesses as well. Thank you very much. Just at the tail end of a cold, so I apologize. And there are different levels of support. We'll get into the details, and then there are employment lands outside of the priority areas, and the only program that would fit for those would be those existing businesses that would be eligible for some level of landscape improvement grant. So on to the very first program, the main one. This one, if you are a target sector that I spoke about, there is the opportunity for having a maximum rebate on the tax increment grant of $1 million over a 5-year period. If you're a non-target sector, it's cut in half to $500,000. And then if you are, just to focus there in particular, if the city feels that on its own lands it has the capability to go further, it can do so, and so it can go above that limit. Excuse me, but it's very discretionary as to whether the city would wish to do that. Thank you. With regard to the development charge DC rebate, this one is a very important one because it's going to be funded up front. So whereas the tax increment grant, you could, in theory, fund from future revenues as a result of development, the DC grant requires there to be funds put in place. And so we have to be very cautious as to how much you assist. So the limit there, if you're a target sector, is $250,000. If you're a non-target sector, $125,000. And then because we have seen in a number of different municipalities where, although we're targeting employment land uses, which I should specify, are not commercial land uses. They are a particular kind. They are, as I described, manufacturing and other types of activity. they need to be the focus. And so where you do get lands which are developed in employment areas, which then get subsequently reassessed through the Municipal Property and Assessment Corporation as commercial, they're really not the focus. So if that turns out to be the case, then the assistance is going to be reduced considerably. Now, I should just specify that the city would have to have a good indication up front as to whether or not that is likely to be the case, and then it would put that measure in place. The third one, deferral interest, is simply the ability that if there is a deferral of interest charges through a staging of payments later on, as opposed to at the time when payment is due, interest is generated. That interest could be considerable. And so this is the opportunity to focus a Section 28 grant to assist with that interest that's accrued. So it's a different vehicle to get to the same kind of thing. And of course it varies as to whether you're a target or a non-target sector as well. There are some limits there in terms of the scale of development, so that we're not dealing with applications for very small amounts of development, which is going to tie up staff time, potentially even legal time associated with it as well. And the level of deferral is only extended to 18 months after building permit was issued. The planning fees and building permits, again, these are very modest in terms of planning fees. We're not going to be assisting something requiring an official plan amendment, for example, but if we are talking about site plan and other kinds of application, then up to $7,500 could be made available. And with respect to remember this is just in the priority area, but with building permits, a bit of a higher level of support, as much as $25,000 as well. So these are not the main programs. The other ones, the ones I've mentioned previously, the tax increment grant and the DCs. But these, for smaller kinds of activities, smaller levels of development in the priority area, that might be an expansion, but they require planning approval. Certainly they require building permits. These are things that can be of great assistance. And lastly, the landscape program is one, it's just really a program for good measure, and it's one that allows businesses across the city to take advantage of if they're coming forward with fundable landscape improvements. So that's got to be almost permanent landscape improvement, not the small scale stuff which is just plantings and can be destroyed in a season or two, but it's a kind of development that's going to improve the look and feel of some of the, as I say, often more rural type of industrial areas generally, business parks. And so a limited grant of $5,000, but I think is a worthwhile program to have on the books as well. There are various combinations of programs. The main thing is that the DC grant, which is a big ticket there for $250,000, if you're a target sector in the priority area, cannot be combined with the tax increment equivalent grant because they're both big ticket items. It's an either or, and the discretion as to which one you take into account, it's really the applicant will have their own views on it. The numbers will show which is the best way to go forward, but ultimately the city, through the city's review of the applications, will determine which are the best, which programs should be used, Program 1 or Program 2. Program 2, for example, can be combined with several other programs. Programs 4 and 5, those are the smaller programs which have less financial impact, and so on and so forth. But essentially, it's one or the other as it relates to using a tax grant or DC. The implementation, there'll be the requisite committee that is put into place. There will be an approach to budgeting that has to go forward, an annual allocation for grants on a rolling basis. Typically, employment CAPs, they are more expensive to implement, and therefore, meaning the amounts of grants are generally higher, the number of applications are smaller, and so getting the plan right, and I think we very much have in terms of our wording and language, and giving the city all the discretion it needs to be able to implement this fairly, so with good transparency, but at the same time protecting the financial position of the city. I think that's in place. Funds, though, once they are established as a budget, will be rolled forward. And of course, the city retains all the discretion that it needs to be able to add, remove, or otherwise budget accordingly from year to year. With that, I will thank you for your attention, and my apologies for my cough, but
Thank
back to
you. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for the presentation. It was very informative and
Thank
a
you.
great read.
Thank you.
Next, I need approval for the minutes held on April 13th, 26 be approved. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Kelly. All in favor? Carried. Deputations, Brian Dracup is here from Hastings County Plowing Match and Farm Show. It's August 19th, 2026, to give us what's up on the Hastings County Plowing Match this year.
Can you guys just hit that when you're ready?
Okay, I'll just
Yep,
slide through.
yep.
What am I hitting? Sorry. From the beginning. I don't have my glasses
That's
on.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Your worship and council members, thank you for seeing us tonight. You're seeing me today. I do have some rack cards. Can I pass these out? And I've got a couple posters there. You can put them someplace. Okay, thank you for seeing us today. I apologize. This is not my forte, so I'm way out of my league here. I'm just gonna, this is a slideshow that my son made up. I believe it's last year's pictures, but it shows you a little bit of everything we do. Well, it's going. Impatient. I guess I can speak while this is going on. Okay. The Hastings County Plow Match and Farm Show is an annual summer outdoor event that has locations throughout Hastings County each year. We are excited to be hosting this year's match on the Chinenye family farm, just 10 minutes north of the city. Hastings County Plowing Match was created in 1989 after the International Plowing Match occurred in Sterling in 1986, which was on my home farm. I was 10 years old at that point. The match is organized by a group of 30 plus dedicated volunteers. Each year the match welcomes about 8,000 people to the community. The plowing match draws people from not only our local area, but all over Ontario. Our goal is to show our passion for agriculture to all generations. We do this by having many vendors, large and small, from large tractor dealerships to our small home-based businesses. Last year, there were 97 vendors that you could walk through. The art of plowing is still our main focus, with 20 plowing competitors, as well as our local 4-H plowing club, which usually has 8 to 12 members in it, and they plow on the Wednesday to achieve their club. Another fun plowing tradition is our special plowing competition for all dignitaries. So we invite you, Mayor Ellis, and council members to come out. You will be trained on a tractor, and you will get to turn 2 furrows for 1 round around the field. Some of the other attractions are our antique farm equipment display. This allows everyone to see how farming has changed and improved over the years. We have had up to 100 different various equipment, farming equipment, and we do have a live demonstration of thrashing machine going on. The Queen of the Furrow competition allows young women 18 to 24 years old to experience public speaking, being the spokesperson throughout the year, promoting the plowing match at other local events, and in September they represent Hastings County at the annual International Plowing Match, which this year is in Bruce County near Walkerton, Ontario. And our Queen will be up there. Plowing Match is a great event for families because it allows the whole family to attend at a reasonable cost. We have attraction for both parents and children. Our children's tent is a huge hit every year, from children playing in the corn bins to having their faces painted. They often never want to leave. Hastings County Match is an event that everyone can enjoy, from farming, not just the farming community. We strive to share the importance of agriculture with the whole community. It's important for our citizens, both from the country and cities, to know where their food comes from. We, the volunteers of the Hastings County Plowing Match and Farm Show, pride ourselves in teaching how farming is important to everyone. We believe it's not only our heritage, but the future. As a representative of all the volunteers, I would like to thank the council for its generous grant money that you approved. These funds will be used to make the show even better, and I personally invite you all to join us August 19th and 20th at the farm of Brian and Jackie, Colin and Whitney Denye's. Come take it all in and see what our match has to offer. I promise you won't want to miss it. And we will be reaching out to fire and police. Not that we need anything, we are fully substantial, but just to let them know what's going on and what they can do to help us out. Thank you very much.
Any questions for the deputation? Councillor Chatton?
Thank you, and through you, Your Worship. I wanted to take just a second to thank you. We've gone just about every single year. My youngest son has a severe disability, and this particular show is one that he looks forward to so much, and it's because it's so inclusive. Wonderful. Everybody comes and says hi to him. They show him the tractors. They show him what they're doing out on the field, and it's very touching that you bring this. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Enright Miller?
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Brian. I just wanted to say we're so looking forward to it this year and to see the wonderful new barn on the Denye's farm. I'm sure it'll go to great use, and thank you for all you do. Without the farmers, we wouldn't eat.
Well, thank you very much.
So we really appreciate the show, and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Councillor Kelly?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. First of all, Mr. Dracup, thanks for the presentation, and anticipating your arrival here today, I thought we'd do some homework on the weekend about farms in Hastings County, and we have close to 1,000 in Hastings County that farm in our area. I saw on your Facebook post too, really impressive, $1,500 agriculture and forestry bursary for a college or university student. That's impressive, and that's with the Hastings County Plowmen's Association. If you can, in a couple of minutes, can you explain how the farming sector is doing in 2026?
Wow. It's growing weak, I think is the best word. I can tell you, surge milk equipment, they used to go around in a minivan in the early 70s. They went up to a large 24-foot cube van in the 80s to 90s, and now the delivery person is back to a minivan. So that's where our agriculture is going. We do still have some strong, like the Denye's family, they are strong in the agriculture, in the Holstein cattle. I don't think they're going anywhere, and the Tumans are right next door out there. Very big. My family farm, we went from dairy cattle, and now we're just cash cropping. A lot of that was three brothers couldn't get along, so we're doing our best. I got my oldest brother is with us now, and my dad, and we're still farming. But yeah, it's a hard life. I can tell you, my daughter is in agriculture. She is running a herd just north of my house for our neighbors, and they cannot find help. So it's a very punishing occupation to get into, but the ones that are into it, the passion is there.
Okay, motion to receive. Councillor Chatton, Councillor Henderson, all in favor, carried. Best of luck, I'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
I haven't been able to win the tractor yet. Next we have Janet Jarrell, Quinte Arts Council, local artist Carl Wiens, Canadian Toonie celebrating a CN Towers 50th anniversary.
You just use this to click.
Thanks. Thanks, Mayor Ellis and council, staff, and the public.
Oh, I'll do that.
Okay. The first, I don't know exactly what happened to the first slide. Sorry. I will. Okay, and now present.
Just make it full screen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's happening.
there we go.
Should be good.
Okay. Thank you, and thanks for your patience. So I'm here today to celebrate a local artist, Carl Wiens. So Carl has designed the latest design for the Canadian Toonie. It is the 50th anniversary for the CN Tower, and there was a competition across Canada, and our own local artist, Carl Wiens, was the chosen design. So it features the Toronto skyline, past and present. So if you look to the left of the CN Tower, you see the skyline from Toronto in 1976, and to the right is the skyline today. Fun fact about this Toonie, it glows in the dark. There's a lot of other features in here. Carl is a graphic design artist, and the detail in here is quite significant, but I don't have all of it off the tip of the tongue. But Carl is a Belleville-based artist and illustrator, over 30-year career. He's known for his collage, screen printing, painting, pattern, and woodworking. You might have seen him at the Parrot Gallery. He's also, this is his second exhibition, currently running at the Quinte Arts Council for the month of April. So if you can come in this week, this will be the last week you get to see it. He combines analytical thinking and imaginative design. All of the artwork in this slideshow is Carl's. He has been featured in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Time Magazine, Barron's, and Esquire. It's quite significant. It's when you really learn about the depth of the artists in our area, it's pretty significant. And Carl is definitely one that we need to celebrate. He has industry awards recognized by the Society of Illustrators, American Illustration, 3x3 Magazine, and Applied Arts Awards. He has some children's publishing, illustrated books, Wild Buildings and Bridges, The Science of Song with Alan Cross, and he blends science, nature, and design for young readers. Carl is an instructor at Sheridan College. He focuses on science and technology-based illustration. He encourages curiosity and community engagement. His recent exhibition, which is it's called Carto Topo Geographic. It's rediscovering lost maps. The entire exhibition at the Art Council is about 50 pieces. They all they're all made with topical maps, and they explore memory, geography, and mapping throughout the collage. If you look close, you can see some of the different areas of each of the maps. It's really fascinating. It's layered. He's got a good connection to Belleville, so if you start looking at some of the art on his website, you'll recognize some local institutions. He's inspired by the Bay of Quinte region. Nature informs his work, and he's active in the local arts community. When he was at the Parrot Gallery, I walked with our student to see his exhibition, and there was classes from the local schools in there sitting on the floor, and Carl was engaged in talking about his artwork, and it was all about the Origins series. So it was different animals there, whether they're extinct or, he had quite a captive audience, and I loved that the kids had some really engaging questions, and Carl took the time to thoughtfully answer them all. It was pretty great. He represents Belleville on a national stage, inspires emerging artists, and strengthens our local cultural identity. If you just talk to your phone and let them know that you're interested in the latest Toonie design with CN Tower, you're going to get, the algorithm will start sending you stuff. And Canadian Mint, what they're doing to celebrate this is pretty incredible across the country. So I would just want to take a moment and congratulate Carl Wiens, a proud moment for Belleville, celebrating creativity, innovation, and community impact. Introduce Carl. If you have any questions, I recommend they...
On behalf of the council here in the city of Belleville, we're so proud of you. Going to present Local Artist Recognition Award, and thanks, and keep up all the good work. So, congratulations. Could you take a few questions if we have them? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we take a couple of
yeah, we'll get a
pictures, if
picture
you
here.
mind? Margaret's going to get one. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to, obviously, to Janet and the Quinte Arts Council. Thank you for hosting me here today. I'm happy to answer any questions about the coin or anything. I just want to say, as an educator, I always stress how important it is to be community-minded and always, what arts brings to a community and what the community brings to artists. It's a great relationship. So support your local artist if you can. I also just want to say, as an artist, it can be very challenging in a lot of ways. But I also want to say, to live with an artist is also maybe even more challenging. So I just want to say thank you to my lovely wife, Kim Naylor. If your kids went to St. Joseph's, you would definitely know who Kim is. So, all right. Any questions?
We've got Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Carl, and that's quite an honor for me from Belleville, and this is really amazing to be on a person from Belleville and
Right.
designing the $2 Coney. So I appreciate you coming, and congratulations to you.
Yes.
Is this coin out now?
It's in circulation. There are 2 million of the full color coins, and then there's going to be another million, and they are out. The other million are struck coins, so there's no paint or color on the surface. They're just your regular
So the ones
two-color
that are out
tuning.
now are the ones that glow in the dark?
Yeah, and those are available at the post office, I believe. Although I think there's been a bit of a run on them. They're very popular. In terms of
And of course, you
collectibles.
brought one free for each one of us. Thank you, sir.
Any more
Yeah,
questions?
when I did the design, I asked them if they give me any free samples. They said, no, you gotta give us $2 and we'll give you one of your Toonies back. So they have, I respect that integrity.
I have
yes.
a few that I'm selling for $10. If anybody wants. Any more questions?
Sure.
Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship, and congratulations, Carl, and I
Thank
know
you.
your wife from school. That's great. I'm just curious, how does one get this opportunity? Being a local artist, do they come to you? Is it something that you apply for? Can you just give us a little bit of history on that?
I was super honored just to be included in the conversation when the coin was being designed. So I did a infographic for Canadian Geographic magazine on the CN Tower. So that I think the people at the tower recognized that, and that's why they extended the invitation. So I submitted the designs along with 2 other artists, and then I obviously went through it the next round. And the process began over a year ago, and it was a lot of intensive, editing and refining. And so I draw something, and then they come back to me and say, oh, the engravers need that line width a little bit heavier, because it's a big image on a very small coin. So and then the glow in the dark took a whole other round of revisions. So, and then I had to keep it secret for another year, and I couldn't even tell my mom about it. So I'd say things like, oh, I got this big thing in the go. I've got this, coin commission going, but that's all I could say. So anyways, yeah, and then when it came out, it was quite a wave of publicity. I'm still trying to cope with that. So yeah, I'm glad that I could share that with, everybody that's here and the community as well.
Questions? Councillor Sue?
I just wanted to thank you. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much everyone coming. Thank you, His Worship. Thank you, Janet, for coming. Local talent, Carl Wiens, his wife Kim, Belleville, the Belleville illustrator behind the CN Tower 50th anniversary. So I Googled a little bit. I just wanted to know a little bit more about you. It's truly inspiring to see someone from our own community contributing to a symbol that represents Canada across the country. Yeah. I want to sincerely thank you, Janet Jarrell, from the Quinte Arts Council. Janet delivered an outstanding presentation at Roma conference in Toronto back in February, engaging, thoughtful, and truly impactful. We are fortunate to have such incredible people in our region. And I just want everyone to know how much she contributes to making our area vibrant and culturally strong. Thank you so much. Thank you, His Worship.
Councillor Kelly?
Thank you. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Through you, Mayor, I'll be quick. Just congratulations. Very impressive to think that people throughout the country are probably, or were asked to get involved with this, and Belleville wins it. So well done. Look forward to getting one of those coins and keeping it. I just wanted to say, too, when the Quinte Arts Council, Janet, is here, I just wanted to say, Janet, really impressed with your spring edition of Umbrella. Great story on the Happy Ghost Gang. We see them often out in Belleville. Ben Thompson and Jess Chatterton. And Greg Teal did a great job on that. I noticed on your website, too, Janet, that you're still looking for 2 board members. Are you still in the hunt? This might be a good opportunity for you to promote it.
Sorry, this is supposed to be about Carl. We are. If anyone's interested, we have filled 1, but we still have 1 position available. So put the word out.
Councillor Chatton?
Thank you, through you, Your Worship. I'm just curious, with the glow-in-the-dark feature that's on the coin, are there any other currencies worldwide that you're aware of that utilizes a glow-in-the-dark paint on currency, or are we the first ones?
Yeah, the Mint is a innovator in terms of the product and the quality and all the work that they do. So their standards are very high, and I learned that they actually are commissioned by other countries, or because their work is international and national. Yeah. So there was one earlier glow-in-the-dark coin design by an Indigenous artist. It had Northern Lights on it and a canoe. It's quite lovely. And when I published the publicity about my coin came out, the artist actually contacted me and congratulated me. So that's really nice.
Oh, cool.
So I guess I'm part of a coin designing community.
I guess so. And was that designer Canadian as well? Or
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
You said Northern Lights, so I figured.
Sure.
But thank you very much for lending your
welcome.
talents to represent Canada in this way. This is fantastic.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Okay, I need a motion to receive, moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Wright Miller. All in favor, carried. I just got a procedural issue. I forgot to ask for questions of the floor in our public meeting. So I don't know if there's anybody in our public meeting that had any questions on the CIP support industrial development across the city. Calling once, calling twice, calling 3 times, meeting's closed. Thank you. Next, we have Committee of the Whole. Recommendation that council rise and go into Committee of the Whole at 4:40 p.m. to hear and consider reports, passing of recommendations and resolutions with Councillor Brown in the chair. Moved by Councillor Emery Miller, Councillor Carr, all in favor, carried.
The agenda shall include under reports that warrant individual attention from council. Item 8A1, Integrity Commissioner and Closed Meeting Investigator Services. Refer to item 9.2, Report DCC 2026-04. And the recommendation reads that pursuant to the Deputy Clerk's Report number DCC 2026-04, Reintegrity Commissioner and Closed Meeting Investigator Services, David G. Bogosian of Bogosian and Allen LLP be appointed as the Integrity Commissioner and Closed Meeting Investigator for the City of Belleville effective June 1st, 2026, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward for Council's consideration. May I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Sue. Councillor Kelly. Discussion? Councillor Thompson.
The integrity commissioner that we hire, are they all across the board, do they all charge the same fee for their investigations?
So I'll refer that to the CAO if I could. The clerk? Thank you. Sorry, Doug.
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, the fees for the ones that submitted RFPs, they were all very similar.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. The motion's carried. Moving on to item 8B, consent items. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council shall consider such items individually. So beginning on my left, if I could, Councillor Thompson.
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr.
No, thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller.
No, thank you.
Councillor Sue.
No, thank you.
Councillor Henderson. No, thank you. Councillor Chatton.
No, thank you, Chair.
Councillor Kelly.
No, thank you.
Okay. So therefore, I will just go ahead with the item. Appointment of Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan Governance Advisory Committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. That consent items 8B1 to 8B6 be approved with the exception of items none to be considered separately. May I have a mover? Councillor Chatton, Councillor Henderson. Discussion? All in favor? The motion's carried. Thank you. Thank you. Item 8C, information items. Similarly, councillor may adopt information items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council may consider such items, excuse me, individually. Beginning on my right, Councillor Kelly.
No, thank you.
Mayor Ellis.
No, thank you.
Councillor Chatton.
No, thank you, Chair.
Councillor Henderson.
No, thank you.
Councillor Sue.
No, thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller.
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr.
8C1A, please.
Councillor Thompson.
No, thank you.
So with the exception of 8C1, that information items 8C1B and 8C3A be received with the exception of items 8C1A to be considered. May I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Enright Miller, sorry, and Councillor Thompson. All in favor? Thank you. So returning to item 8C1, Building Services Month-End Report, March 2026, Councillor Carr. Yeah. And a seconder, thank you, Councillor Henderson. And Councillor Carr, your comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got some comments, but through you, question to the Director of Engineering Development Services. Can Council get a explanation as to how estimated value is determined as it relates to new residential construction?
Thank you. If I could refer the question
Yep.
to Mr. Ashton.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr. So the residential construction value is established by the Altos Group Canada. So There is a low to high range for per square meter construction cost. And so when the building permit is submitted, they make sure that it falls within that range at the time of building permit, and then they'll accept that at that time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Second question, does the director have what that value is, the high and low range per?
I don't have
Okay.
the exact value at the
Okay.
fingertips, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I find it interesting, and I monitor this every month. It comes in, sometimes we don't really talk about it, but it's interesting that looking at one permit in particular, 2026-0004, it's new construction, single detached, based on where it's located. It's not within a subdivision, so it's a private build. Just looking at the building area square feet of 2,357, the estimated value of the construction is 750,000. But then if you look a little further down, 2026-0018 permit number, again, new construction, smaller home, again in a rural area, so not in a subdivision, approximately 1,400 square feet, you're at 650,000. And if you go on to the next page and you're actually looking at some new builds, the last page, 2026-0100, it's a 2,500 square foot home and the valuation is at 420,000, and that's in a subdivision. And then page up from that, 2026-0080, again in a new subdivision, 2,800 square feet, it's 465. So I think we're starting to determine what the private sector, we've talked about a lot about this, about what they're actually costing them to build. And it's interesting, so when we're seeing it in these subdivisions, it's around $460,000 to build, around a 2,800 square foot is what their costs are, versus if you're building just singularly on your own in another area of the city. But interestingly enough, I've actually gone back and looked at these particular, not these ones, but previous monthly builds, and you're seeing the average costs on a new build around $425,000 to $465,000. But then when you go to actually see what the sale price is on that home, the $460,000 estimated value is actually retailing at just around $700,000. So when we're talking about development charges and we're talking about all these extra costs associated, the HST rebates that are being discussed, I'm starting to see a trend here where the actual estimated value, and it's based on a book that's agreed upon across the sector in terms of what it would cost. You're seeing in the subdivisions a significantly high markup beyond what the retail value is. Either that or these estimation values are incorrect and are significantly low. But this is a trend that I'm seeing, and I do have monthly reports that I've kept, and I've also kept the real estate ad for those same properties, and seeing about a $300,000 swing on estimated value costs and what the retail price is on a home. So it's kind of interesting. I think the picture's coming a little clearer, particularly as I know we'll be discussing development charges sometime soon. So it's interesting to see this kind of math play out. Thank you.
Any other items for discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, the motion's carried. Moving on to, I apologize, I flipped my page. 8D, right. 8D, Rise and Report. Recommendation reads that the Committee of the Whole now does rise and return to Council at 4:50 p.m. May I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Sue, Councillor Chatton. All in favor? Thank you, the motion's carried.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. I need a mover and a seconder that bylaw numbers 2026-055, 2026-056, 057, and 058, 059, and 060 be read and passed. Moved by Councilor Thompson, seconded by Councilor Sue. Discussion. Councilor Carr.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to discuss 2026-057, remuneration and benefits for mayor and council. I'm going to ask for a recorded vote so the clerk can get prepared. this is never a popular vote at any time, but throughout the last couple of budgets, and certainly the last budget, I made it clear that there's certain aspects that I didn't support. The large police budget increase, the fire master plan, those two contributed over half of the tax increase that council's agreed upon, and we've asked residents to take on a very significant tax increase. We're asking them to sacrifice by paying more, and I don't feel comfortable taking for myself, and so I can't support this pay increase, even though it is very marginal at the end of the day. This isn't about pay, this is about public service, and I think it's important if we're going to ask the residents to sacrifice, then I feel that I should be doing the same. Thank you.
Councillor Thompson? Somebody second that motion, sorry? So I guess Councillor Brown, or Councillor Carr, Councillor Brown. Councillor Thompson, you speak.
I'm going to definitely speak in favor of it. You talk when you go to, in the public, and nobody expects somebody to represent them on municipal council, federal, provincial, without being paid fairly. And in my estimation, the fee that is being paid to councillors, they don't, unless they put in for mileage, they don't get mileage. I put in for mileage, and I'll admit to that, but not everybody does. So you're saying to that these councillors aren't worth $41,000 for represent the city of Belleville in many discussions and work with the public and their concerns. When they call you, you have to make some effort to either try to resolve it or at least some dialogue with them. And, you know, we always say, how come people aren't running for council? Well, why would they run for council and not be paid a reasonable salary? And if you do a good job in this councillor's position, you're putting in sometimes 10 to 25 hours a week. Some not, some more. So when you divide that down, even if you use 15 hours a week and divide that in, and all the time you spend on the phone, talking to people, I defy if you're getting any more than $10 an hour. And nobody in this city and nobody in any community expects to work for $10 an hour. So I'm going to definitely speak in favor of the raise. It's reasonable. It's 1 point. Yeah, we asked the taxpayer for and there's only one taxpayer, and we're one of those taxpayers. So we're contributing to it. But to in my estimation, to insult the councillors and not being able to we're giving the senior management a raise, and that's what this is why we went this way, so that senior management, whatever they got, councillors were going to get. So we were quite happy to give senior management 1.8. Yeah, they do a lot of work, but so do we. So defy us not to getting 1.8. So in a recorded vote, I'm most happily to go for the 1.8%. Thank you.
Anybody else? Councillor Kelly.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I think it's fair to say, I can't speak for everybody, but we didn't get into the game for the money. It's for the love of the city, and it's just civic pride. I can appreciate comments from both of my colleagues. When I look at this and I see it's a $700 increase for a councillor's position, over 52 weeks, that's $13.46. And when I look at the amount of fuel that I use traveling in and around the city and other events outside the city representing Belleville, I don't put in for mileage. And there's the cost of clothing and the cost of this. So might be a bit selfish, but I look around and I see the rest of us here. I think we're worth $13.46 more a week. Thanks. And also for the future councillors that are going to invest in their community as well.
Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, through you. And I am not going to support it for the very same reason, that we are in this for public service. And I do believe the remuneration now is fair. I know it's a small amount per councillor and per mayor, but everything counts. And we've had a tough year. Our residents feel it. I stand with Councillor Carr here, and I'm not going to support it either. Thank you.
Anybody else? I'll just speak to this for a minute. When I became mayor in 2006, we were faced with a situation that the council before us, Mayor Sills, they hadn't had a pay raise for a couple of years. So they ended up, I think, in history, they tried to get a committee, it didn't work, so they hired a consultant to figure out council's pay. They initiated, I believe, it over 3 years and kind of put it over 3 years as opposed to taking all the raise at once. When I became mayor, we ended up at the same thing. We were stopped because it was initiated over 4 years. So when I looked at things, I ended up saying to myself, if we don't take a raise, we're going to be behind. We're going to hire a consultant in 4 years, and we're going to be back to paying $40,000 or $50,000. So the purpose of tying it, I was the one that made the motion to tie it to senior management, so we would have a fixed every year. We wouldn't talk about it, and it would be tied to them. I know it's been a tough year, so I'm mixed on how to support this, and I'll just tell you why it was that way. I think I could support it if it was 1 year. I know we had a tough budget, but besides that, I would hate to have to go back to a consultant to get a pay raise. Okay, all in favor? Oh, Councillor Thompson, you got just that?
Yeah, I want to add to it. We're talking a 1.8% increase, and I'm going to be very blunt here. Salaries that councillors earn in the city of Belleville is not enough, period. So 1.8% increase, salaries should be much higher for councillors in the city of Belleville, and I've expressed that to a number of people. So this 1.8%, I think we should be much higher to start with, so thank you.
Okay, call the vote.
This is just for bylaw 2026-057. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Councillor Brown?
No.
Councillor Carr?
No.
Councillor Chatton?
No.
Councillor Enright Miller?
No.
Councillor Henderson?
No.
Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Councillor Sue?
No.
Mayor Ellis?
No.
Lost by 7, Your Worship.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to speak to 2026-058, if I may. Over the course of earlier this year, as we had meetings with Hastings County, and even prior to that, it was identified that the rate would continue to, the rate from Hastings County for provincial offenses would continue to allocate out automated speed enforcement only to Belleville. However, at the meeting on February the 4th, the budget proposed that beginning January 1st, 2027, that any funds that were in there would go back to the former approach, which is to just allocate the dollars. I know we have been challenged in trying to get some good data of which to allocate what's happening with automated speed enforcement, and as it relates to items that are going in for early resolution or items that are going in for court costs. At this stage, I'm not prepared to support the bylaws presented, but I do have, and my reasoning for doing so is that automated speed enforcement was only in place in the city of Belleville. So while I acknowledge that amount might be small, as subsequent to December 31st, 2026, I don't agree that it should be, any other municipality should be benefiting from our automated speed enforcement dollars. So, but I do have a question for staff. Is the amending agreement that's part of this bylaw, is there an opportunity to go back and add additional language as it relates to the dates, and whether or not we can add the caveat which, by the way, was offered to us by the CAO at Hastings County verbally, but not formally in what was approved in the budget. Assurances that if there was still money remaining in court, early resolutions and court cases subsequent to December 31st, 2026, that they would reinvestigate the agreement and felt that they would be fair. So my question really is there an opportunity to make that adjustment in the amending agreement rather than the way it's currently written?
CAO McDonald?
Excuse me. Through the chair to Councillor Brown. Certainly there's always an opportunity to have a conversation with the other two parties to this agreement as a tri-party agreement. I can tell you we've had significant conversation with staff at the county about this matter and the revenue that clearly is being driven by the City of Belleville, and rightly, from our perspective, should come to the City of Belleville and is lagging over the calendar year. We share your concern about the drag in time, and we're concerned about that. I think the challenge for us becomes what does that look like as the calendar ages, and is it collectible at that point? There is a challenge there, and I think we're working with the county on that. I think from our perspective, what is in front of us right now is really consistent with what we've spoken to our colleagues at Hastings County, and I think that gives us a binding agreement that gets us where we need to be. I think the extension of it, in the event that there is some lag and there is revenue left there, I don't think it precludes us from having a conversation about something beyond this. I would prefer that we get this in place and have a discussion about what it looks like in the event that there is revenue left at the expiry or at the end of this agreement, rather than going back and having a conversation with both parties about what that looks like down the road. Fully understanding your concern about the potential for revenue still being there uncollected. That is always a challenge with POA, as our folks on that committee that go to Hastings County and sit in those meetings, and the Director of Finance can share numbers with you about old uncollectible revenue that we have on the books at Hastings County that we would like to have. That becomes a challenge as it gets older and older, and the challenge with the court system. We're dealing with that right now as we speak with Belleville Police Service and some of their challenges. So I think this piece here that's in front of us, I'm supportive of it, and having a conversation about revenue as it becomes older, as we get into 27, looking at something on top of this to protect our revenue as it gets older.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just as a follow-on, I appreciate where you're coming from, and again, I want to acknowledge that I don't think it's huge dollars that are sitting out there. But that said, and no disrespect intended to my colleagues over at Hastings County, so I don't want it interpreted that way. But once we've signed this that says that the original Schedule A goes back to intermunicipal service agreement will apply to the cost and revenue sharing formula, what obligation is there to come back and reopen it or revisit it? And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but automated speed enforcement was a Belleville initiative. And like I said, I really struggle with, and in fairness, and I'm looking to my colleague across the table to speak to this as well. This was discussed during the budget presentation at POA, and a proposal was put forward for this, and it was defeated. So my question then becomes, appreciate my skepticism, that dollars that Belleville earned, whether it's a program that anybody liked or not, it was a dollars that revenue that the city has earned that there's an opportunity for it to be able to go across Hastings County and our partners to the west of us in Quinte West. So I just have, even if it was an asterisk and a footnote, it would make me more comfortable in signing and going ahead with this agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and to maybe CEO McDonald. Just further to Councillor Brown's information, I was the one that made the amending motion at POA that was not approved. And we really wanted to go back to the formula from 2001 because, as you say, the automated speed enforcement revenue is a Belleville revenue. And if we go with this wording and this new amendment agreement or agreement with a new date, how do we know it's going to be looked at? Could we not put some verbiage in that says we'll leave the 2001 formula and then revisit it in 6 months to see what the lag looks like? Because they were very clear that there is a lag in the system to get these tickets processed. So we could be well into 2027 before we see any of this revenue, and we will have lost it, or we may not get our share. Is there some sort of wording that you might be comfortable with that we could go back to them with?
CAO McDonald.
Through the chair, yeah, I think there's potential. I think sitting down with Director of Finance and having a conversation with staff at Hastings County, looking at that. We've talked about it internally and what that lag looks like and what it does to the revenue, which there is no question that it is generated in the city of Belleville and should rightly come back to the city of Belleville. It's revenue that was generated here and should not be just accumulated and then cost shared through the very old cost-sharing agreement. So your point is taken, and so in the event that council were to table this and let us talk to them, my concern is that we lose this and the other two parties to it are then not interested in any agreement, and we go back to what the status quo is, and we share all the revenue across the board, which is an option, right, for the other two parties to a three-part agreement. They could literally take that position, and I'm not interested in sharing the large portion of revenue that is eventually going to be there, eventually going to be identified as ASE generated and rightly sent to the city of Belleville as revenue due to the city. So that is my part of my concern. The other is that time lag that gets us through all of 26 and into 27, and then that starts becoming stale.
Councilor Brown?
Sorry, I thought I had pushed it on. I would like to motion to table and have this brought back to the next council meeting to provide staff an opportunity to have one more conversation with the members at Hastings County in terms of a possible amendment.
Can I get a seconder on that? Councilor Thompson? All in favor? Carried. Okay, I think we didn't. Pardon? Yes, that's what I was going to do. A motion to pass. I guess I had a motion for that. Call a vote on the existing bylaws. All in favor? Carried. New business. Notice of motions. Yes. Oh yeah, I got something here. Sorry. You need a mover and a seconder for bylaw 2026-062, a bylaw to approve the authorization and the execution of a medical service agreement with the corporation of the city of Belleville with Dr. Uzondu. Be read and passed the 27th day of April 2026. Moved by Councillor Chatton, second by Councillor Brown. All in favor? Carried. Announcements. Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. First of all, last week with Michelle Lotion from the City of Belleville, part of the Economic Development team, we made a visit to several properties, businesses in the industrial park. Just want to give you an update. Amazon 300 plus, Kellogg's new development there. You got to go check it out. It's growing like a bad weed. Sprague Foods, extremely busy. Yaya Foods with Trust Beverage. We were there for Economic Development Committee meeting. They hosted us about 8 months ago. They had mentioned that they were hoping to have 2 shifts, and I think it was around 34 or 50 employees. Well, they're closing in on 100 right now and hope to have 300 in the next few years. So lots of exciting things going on in Belleville's Industrial Park, thanks to Michelle Lotion from Economic Development for the tour. And this past weekend, I was out and about, and I just want to welcome everybody from the Bay of Quinte Yacht Club. It's their 150th anniversary this year. They started sailing in here in the Bay of Quinte 1876. It's the 4th oldest yacht club in Ontario. And think about every weekend, that economic impact that they're bringing to our community, restaurants, Airbnbs, hotels, the whole bit. So we wish them the best on their 150th anniversary.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just have a couple. I just wanted to remind everyone that the Accessibility Excellence Award nominations are still on until April 27th at 4:30 p.m. And the awards will be presented on May 27th to recognize National Accessibility Week. Our seedling giveaway is May 2nd behind City Hall. Starts from 9, goes till 12. Please arrive early and bring your bag or bucket to transport your seedling. We have so many native species this year to choose from. And Trash Bash. This past weekend was a huge success, and a heartfelt thank you to all who volunteered to clean up our city. A thank you to Councillor Kelly for manning the fairground drop-off with our team members, and Mayor Ellis and MP Chris Millette getting out there and bashing some trash, so it looked great. We're anxious to see how much litter that we've collected, and those numbers will be out soon. So thank you to my committee members who all volunteered, and to everybody in the city who went around and bashed the trash. You have no idea how we all appreciate that. And the Boca Boccia Club, I knew I would mess it up, the Quinte Leatherbacks Boccia Club have just announced that they've got a couple of events coming up. Actually, every Thursday at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. You can go out and see what boccia is all about if you register at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. And the Ontario Boccia Championship is July 23rd to the 26th at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, and they just do a great job. For more information, visit quinteleatherbacks.ca. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more announcements? I have a few proclamations. The month of May is Food Allergy Awareness Month. The month of May is Community Living Month. The month of May is Huntington Disease Awareness Month. The month of May is Melanoma and Skin Cancer Awareness Month. Month of May is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Day. May 10th is Lupus Awareness Day. May 1st is National Physicians Day. May 28th is Menstrual Health Day. And the month of May is Building Safety Month. With that, I need a motion for the confirmation bylaw 2026-61, to confirm the proceedings of council meeting held April 27, 26. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor? Carried. I need a motion to adjourn at 5:15. Moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Sue. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.